Here with John Papuchis, the new linebackers coach, special teams coach. I guess it's the first thing I want to ask you about, Coach, is the transition, coaching linebackers. What's that been like so far, getting ready for spring, completing tour of duty?
It's been exciting. It's been a really good transition. It's something I've done a lot of in my career, but having the opportunity to go back to it was really refreshing and re-energizing, to be honest with you. Got a great group to work with. Ernie Sims, is in the room with me. I love Ernie. I think he's a tremendous coach. So it's been a lot of fun just growing and getting to know these guys and working through this transition.
It's funny you brought up Ernie. I want to ask you him because I covered him in recruiting and going through the process here and playing. Do you remember him as a player at all? What kind of thing he did?
I do. I guess I'm old enough to remember when his whole recruitment was going on, to be honest with you. But, I remember him as a player and always admired who he was, how he played the game. And, my biggest thing, and I tell recruits this and I tell our players this all the time, is hopefully the combination of what Coach Sims and I can bring to the room is going to be a great dynamic from this standpoint. Ernie's done everything that our players want to do. He's a great player here at Florida State, highly recruited, went on to be a first-round draft pick, have a successful career in the NFL, and then came back home to coach. And then from my standpoint, having, in 25 years, my 25th year of college football, and I've seen the good, bad, and ugly of all of it, and that experience and that wisdom and seeing it all and being able to share those experiences with our players, I think it's critical and it's important. Just all the good and the bad of all the players that have had the opportunity to coach. And when you combine the two different life experiences, I think it's a great combination for our guys.
Yeah. How about your linebacker segment? You've got some guys coming back, a little experience, but you also got a couple transfers coming. How's that unit shaking out so far?
So far, the guys have been working really well together. You always are aware of the idea that every time you bring in transfers, right? There's the idea of the players who are coming back. New competition, new faces in the room. But it's the modern age of what college football is. And our players have done a tremendous job embracing the guys who came. We're all one team now, and they've worked really well together. And I think the dynamic in the room is really good.
Who's kind of stood out during tour of duty and getting ready to go into spring?
Well, I think there's really two different groups. The group that was new to it and going through it for the first time. So I think all three of the guys have really done a nice job with things. Elijah Herring, Caleb Lawley, and Steph Thompson have all done a nice job in different ways. Steph is a veteran of the defense. He was with Coach White at Syracuse, and he was with Coach White at Nebraska, and now he's here with us. So he knows. He knows the ins and outs, and he's done a great job helping the other guys. Caleb and Elijah have come in and they've worked their butt off, and they came in with a purpose and on a mission, and it's been impressive to see. In terms of the guys who are returning, Blake, Juice, and Omar have all had really good off seasons. They're handling their business on and off the field, and I'm really excited with what it's going to be. And then we have a whole group of young guys behind them that are going to be pushing for opportunities to play.
In terms of scheme with Tony White, how has that kind of changed on linebacker?
I think this system is going to be a little bit more of a linebacker-friendly system from the standpoint, probably more pressure and a lot more aggressive blitzing nature to it. So from a linebacker perspective, it's going to be a lot of fun to play, and a little less match coverage on those guys in terms of responsibility, and a little bit more vision on the quarterback, which allows you to potentially make some plays. And I think the guys are going to adapt well to it, and I think they're excited about what it's going to look like.
Got to ask you one thing about special teams. You got two literally huge shoes to fill, losing Mastromato and Fitz. How's that position going to shake out this spring?
Well, you lose two All-Americans. it's not, you don't anticipate it to be totally seamless, but I would say I'm very excited about where we are from a specialist perspective. Jake Weinberg, we knew when we recruited him he could be special, and all he's done every day, at least on the practice field, has proved us right in terms of what he potentially could be, and I'm excited for him to have the opportunity to take charge of that job and that responsibility. And then Max Tremendo has done a tremendous job here. He's been waiting in the wings for a while, and now with the extra year for Alex, never really knowing when his time was going to come. He's been patient but working very hard. He's improved immensely over the 3 years that he's been here, and I'm really excited for him to get his first opportunity to take ownership of that position and see what he can do with it.
What has Steph brought, maybe as a player, but also as a teacher, as a guy who knows this scheme really well, it can help the other guys too?
No, absolutely. So, there's a lot that goes on when the coaches aren't there. Guys, whether it's film study or doing, on the field work on their own on the weekends. And Steph has taken an ownership and the leadership in that element to it. And then even for myself and Coach Sims, as we're watching tape and we're installing, a lot of our install is off of Nebraska film. And I have no problems asking, like, hey, on this particular call, you were disguised this way. Why? And he's a really smart football player, and he knows the answers to exactly why everything was the way it was. And, I lean on him as much as anybody in the room from the standpoint of just knowledge and experience in the defense.
I'm not sure if one of the guys already asked, but just working with Coach White, Coach Knighton comes in, and obviously in your new role, how has that been? And just the relationship, we heard that you guys have had great chemistry. I think someone called Tony a mad scientist. I mean, what's it like working alongside these guys?
No, it's a great group. I knew when Coach Norvell and whoever he was going to bring in to fill some different roles, that he's going to bring in quality people, because that is a staple of what this program is all about. And I've had a tremendous time here in the first couple months getting to know these guys, working with them, and I'm excited about what the future could be. Good people, good men, and also excellent football coaches. So, I think it brings a really good dynamic to the room.